Hey you guys, it's your favorite flight attendant babe, Milan Emaj, coming to you live from Miami, Florida. I am in the house. I was on reserve today. Today is Wednesday, November the 20th. I was on reserve from 12 a.m. to 10 a.m. and I didn't get called. It is now 1 p.m. and I figured I would sit down and film a little video for you guys since I haven't been on here in a while. I get questions all the time, especially on Instagram. Follow me there at milan.emaj, from people considering being a flight attendant or getting into the aviation industry or in the application process that just want to know, do you like your job as a flight attendant? Or how do you feel about your job as a flight attendant? What's it like being a flight attendant? Like, of course I like my job as a flight attendant. If I didn't enjoy my job, I wouldn't be doing it. But at the same time, there are so many pros and cons to this job. So that's kind of what I'll be discussing today. I do talk with my hands a lot. Excuse my booty scratches, but that's not what we're here to discuss today. We are here to discuss what it takes and what things to consider before becoming a flight attendant. So if that is something that you're interested in, definitely stay tuned. I have 10 things on my list today, the first of which is how well you work with the public. This is so important. Before I became a flight attendant, I wouldn't say that I work with the public well. I had a lot of jobs previous to this in customer service, but I put on a good front, okay? So if you don't work with the public, don't like working with the public, or you can't be a good actress in the sky, babe, this job is not for you. Since having this job specifically, I've definitely come around to becoming more of a people person and meeting new people. One thing about this job in particular that I do love is every single day you have hundreds of opportunities to network and meet new people and learn new things. That's something that I didn't have in any other customer service job that I had that I've hated. I have met passengers and crew members from all over the world that are into so many different things that I never would have learned about or gotten into if it wasn't for meeting these people and being able to network and hear their stories. You know what I mean? Like selling hair, selling lashes, doing lashes, personal trainers, people that make apps, people that do digital marketing, stock trading, y'all. Forex and cryptocurrency, real estate. Now, of course, some of these things I've thought about or even done on my own, but meeting these people, learning the way that they run their business, how they started their business, meeting graphic designers, for instance, that I've never would have come across otherwise, that I can work with in the future when I relaunch my businesses, is super dope to me. Just having the resources available, and I mean hundreds of people every single day that you can meet and talk to and see what they're into and how they make money, okay? I'm with it because I need as much help as I can get on this road to becoming a millionaire. You feel me? Okay. All right, on to number 2, timeliness. Y'all, in the aviation industry, timeliness is so important. I can't express to you guys how important this is in the aviation industry. I know y'all hear it all the time, and I know y'all knew it was coming. I am not the most timely person. I am not the most prompt person. I am almost always fashionably late to anything, okay? But when it comes to my job, I take it serious and I make sure that I am more than on time, okay? That I am 30 and 40 minutes early sometimes, that I leave my house an hour before I have to be at work sometimes, knowing that I live 20 minutes away just because I want to make sure I'm on time. You don't know what can happen, right? Every minute a plane is at a gate, that plane is being charged for essentially the rental of that gate, right? So every minute that you're late to the gate, your company is being charged and that falls back on you. I don't know about you, but I don't want to be responsible for nobody's delay. Because then they're going to get on my plane and they're going to think it's my fault and they're going to take it out on me. You know, thank you. No, I don't got time. I don't got time, okay? No. So I make sure I have time in the morning to get dressed, to put on my makeup, to put on my uniform, to pack my bags, to pack my meals, okay, and be to the airport on time to report for duty. I'm telling y'all now, these airlines do not play about timeliness. You will be fired over being late. I promise you. I promise you. They don't play. I can't even check in for work 1 minute after the minute that I'm supposed to be there. And I could have been in the airport already, right? But I have to go to the crew room and get to the computer. I have to park my car, walk across the street, get into the airport, go through security, go up the escalator, swipe into the crew room, right? And then log onto the computer to check in by the time that I'm supposed to be there. But by the time I get to the computer and go to click the check-in button, it's already 6:01, it's too late, and now it says too late to check in. And then I have to call my company to check me in. So now everybody knows that I'm late. And now they put a note on my schedule that says that I'm late, right? And they finally check me in and I try to explain it away and they don't care. Head to my plane, check in with my gate agent, check in with my crew, do all my safety checks. We begin boarding, but then the door closes 1 minute behind schedule. That's considered a delay. It don't matter how short or long the delay is or whose fault or not the delay is, that is still considered a delay. And your company is being charged for every minute that that plane is on the ground and not out the gate. I know it's not my fault, but it doesn't matter. The research begins following the trail back. Who caused the delay? And they see the one flight attendant that checked in late. Guess whose fault that delay is now? Guess who that falls back on? It falls back on me. And I don't know about you, but I don't want that. No ma'am, no ham, no turkey. I don't want it. I don't want the points. I don't want the probation extension. I don't want to have a meeting with my supervisors. I want to lay low and mind my business to do my job, and that's it. That is my goal. And being late will not help me achieve my goal. So being late is not an option moving forward. Now, number 3 on the list is moving or commuting. I'm going to tell you now, commuting is difficult. I would not suggest it. It is too much. If you live and are based in a major city, it is definitely easier to commute in and out than it is if you live in bumfuck Idaho. If you live there and you're not wanting to move, this job is not for you. I'm here to tell you that, and I'm sorry. If you are not willing to move from your home to your base or commute from your home to your base for every trip, then this job is not for you. Moving is a great option for your pick up and go type of people. People that are not married or tied down in any relationship. People that don't have any kids. People like me. I am 23 and I've lived in like 6 or 7 states at this point, and I love it. I love bouncing around. It's cool, and I'm not against moving again. Now, if that is not your situation and you still want a career in aviation, by all means still apply. I would just suggest doing tons of research in the airlines that are hiring or have hubs where you want to be based or where you do currently live, so that even if you're not based there from the very beginning, you have the option to transfer into the base that you want to call home. You know what I mean? The other option is commuting. Commuting is hard. Commuting is a second job, and I wouldn't suggest it. But if you have no other options, then commute. I know people that do it and do it successfully and have been for years. Even people from other countries that are based here in Miami or other places that commute in and out of the country for work. It is very much possible, but it is hard. It is not for the faint of heart. It is not easy. Like if you're in Ida, Kansas, it's not going to happen for you because there's not going to be enough flights in and out of your home to get you to and from work on time every time. It's not possible. But if you are in a major city or have access to a major city, then commuting is definitely an option. Moving on to number 4, and I'm sorry about the light. The sun just keeps moving and I'm tired of chasing it. But moving on to number 4, the ability to work well both individually and as a team. Much like number 1, this is a given. You have to work well with the public, right? Your passengers, and you have to work well with your team, your fellow crew members. When you are 36,000 feet up in the air, trapped in a metal tube with only 3 other people that can help get you out in the event that an emergency occurred, you better be friends with them people. Be nice to them people. I don't know what's wrong with y'all. Folks be coming onto the plane with attitudes and stuff, but if this bitch go down, this get left. Don't play with me. Don't play. Don't play. So yeah, you need to have that positive energy flowing through that recycled air. You need to be nice. You need to be able to work with people. Be their friend, not their foe. Don't be the person that hangs out in the back galley and does nothing. Be a person that communicates with your fellow crew members and creates a positive work environment. If you're the person that always has to be the leader, you're the person that always has to be in charge and in control, don't do it to yourself. Don't do it to yourself. Because your pride is going to be hurt and your feelings are going to be hurt. Now, working well individually is also important, but I would arguably say that working well as a team in this job is even more important than working well alone. But you can't work well as a team if you don't know how to work well and function and do your job properly on your own. Do you know what I mean? So that's why I say the ability to work well individually and as a team. Now, moving on to number 5, this crazy schedule in reserve life. This, I would say, is the number 1 reason that new flight attendants quit in the first 6 months, because they can't handle reserve. You, depending on your airline, will be on call between 12 and 24 hours a day, 6 days a week. On reserve, you have no control of when you sleep, if you sleep, what you eat, where you're going, what you're doing, who's going to be there, none of it. So if you're not okay with that and you don't think that that is something that you can handle mentally and deal with for 6 months to say 24 months, I would say reserve life for most airlines is about 6 months to 2 years, right? If you don't think that you could deal with that for 2 years of your life, being on call and not having a schedule, not knowing when you're going to be off or where you're going, and sitting by your phone for 24 hours a day for 6 days a week for 2 years straight, having somebody else control your every move, okay? And I make it sound like a horror movie, but I'm telling you, it's not for the faint of heart. If you can't do that, don't apply. Don't apply, because you're going to get through the entire interview process, and it's a long process, the entire training process, and it's a long process, and get to the job that you work so hard to get and be miserable. You're going to hate it here. I'm telling you, it's not a joke. It's not a game, and it sucks. I've seen plenty of people go through this entire process. Like, I've been wanting to be a flight attendant forever. Can't see myself doing anything else. This is my dream job. And then they get here after months of preparing for the job that they thought they were going to love so much, and they quit because they can't handle being on reserve. And it sucks. It really does. But I'm telling y'all now, don't do it. Don't do it. Moving on. To my next point, which kind of bounces off of the last point, you will miss special occasions. Holiday seasons are the most popular seasons in the aviation industry. So when you're new, you will be needed, which means you will miss Thanksgiving. You will miss Christmas. You will miss Valentine's Day and Mother's Day and Father's Day and spring break and all of that. There ain't no spring break, bitch. Whether you're on reserve or you have a line, you will be working. And that's the tough truth. And if you're not working for one, you're working for the other. My first couple years, I was about ready to call it quits because I just could not bear the idea of not being with my family for Thanksgiving, for Christmas, for New Year's, for birthdays, for weddings, for missing out on absolutely everything. It seemed like I was off when I didn't need to be. And anytime I wanted to do something or needed to be somewhere, I had to work. And it pissed people off sometimes that I wasn't available. And I'm just like, oh, well, I have to work. And then sometimes you get even more irritated because you're on call on that particular day. And then you don't get called. And it's like, fuck, I should have left. But then if you would have left, you would have got called. Because you know that's how the cookie crumbles, right? And if you are a super family-oriented person that just cannot bear the idea of not being with your family for special occasions or missing out on the birth of your niece or nephew or whatever, right? Don't do it. Now, moving on to number 6, health and wellness. You will get sick, period, point blank. I don't care how many precautions you take. I don't care how many vitamins you take, how many alcohol pads you use on different surfaces, how many pairs of gloves you run through on a single flight. It don't matter. People are gross. That recycled air is real. Passengers are disgusting. It is the ghetto, and you will get sick. In that first 6 months, when your immune system is kind of getting used to the recycled air and changing climates and time zones and not sleeping and all of that. And if you're one of those people that just kind of shuts down when they're sick, that just wants to be babied and cuddled and coddled and stuff, this ain't the job for you. Because in the beginning, you're going to get sick. And if you call out sick, you're going to get in more trouble in the beginning, which is rude. On probation, when you're probably getting sick the most, you'll get in more trouble then in your first 6 months than you do, say, a year in. Then if you want to call out sick for a holiday or a birthday or whatever type of event, just to be with your family because you knew you weren't going to get it off because you were on reserve, right? It counts even more against you. You see what I'm saying? So learning how to cope with sickness in flight and taking care of yourself both mentally and physically is a process and something that you need to learn, but that takes time. And in the meantime, in between time, you just gotta make it do what it do. Moving on to number 8, and it may seem crazy or like it doesn't need to be said, but I'm gonna say it anyway. If you're on drugs, babe, stop. First of all, stop doing drugs for yourself, for your health, for your family, for your future, for your heart and lungs and kidneys and stuff. Not for a job. But if it helps and you really, really want the job, you know, stop smoking your weed and doing your coke because you won't get the job like that. And I mean quit for good. I don't mean just until you get the job, because once you get the job, it's not over. You are still subject to random drug tests. And I know people that have made it through the entire process of being hired, come off of their first flight, get a random drug test, and are fired because they had something in their system, whether it be alcohol or weed or whatever, something in their system, and it gets them fired. After all that work that you put in, you just get fired. I also know people that think it's so important that they smoke or do whatever, that they're carrying around fake piss in little pill bottles or pouches attached to their fupas. Y'all, for real. If smoking weed or doing whatever it is that you do is that important to you, where you just don't think you can quit, I'm not judging you. Do what you do. But this ain't the job for you. It's not worth it. And I don't care how long you can get away with it, but in this field in particular, you're essentially putting people's lives in danger because you want to be drunk or high at work. Now you're impaired, so in the event that something happens, you don't even know what the hell is going on because you want to be drunk and shit. What? No, sis. This ain't for you, period. Next case. Uniform guidelines, number 9. Uniform guidelines are not a super deal breaker for some people, but for some people, some of this stuff is super important. If you're a person that expresses yourself in your nails, this job is not for you, because ain't no long nails and crazy colors and diamonds and glitter and sparkles and gold leaves. It's not an option. If you're a person that expresses yourself through your hair, wig it up for sure. Have your work wig for work, for when you're on reserve or when you're working or whatever, and have all your other crazy wigs and just save those for the weekend and the turn up in the days that you're off or you're traveling on your own and all of that. Next thing is makeup. Now, makeup is not necessary, but I just don't want to look sick and all my other crew members are beat. But in the same breath, I'll say that I only put on makeup when I'm going to certain cities. If I'm going to Atlanta, if I'm coming to Miami, if I'm going to Houston or LA or New York or Vegas, oh, my face is going to be beat. Now, if I'm going to Oklahoma City at 5 in the morning, sis, I'm tired and I'm going to look it, and that's going to be that. Heels, another thing, not necessary, but they do help to just give an overall polished appearance. And I've had what we call a senior mama, so somebody that's been in the company for a long time, ask me why I was wearing flats with a dress in the concourse as opposed to wearing heels with my dress in the concourse and then changing into my flats during service or on the flight. Lady, get out my face. Because I can. So like I said, it's not necessary, but if you don't want to deal with problems like that, then okay, because that gave me an attitude, and I had an attitude for the rest of the flight. Like, bitch, why are you questioning me? That's the real question. What is it to you? But yeah, so that's another thing. And then tattoos. Finally, in this section, tattoos. The tattoo policy at different airlines is different, but at no airline in the United States or abroad is it okay to have tattoos showing while in uniform. So whether you cover it up with makeup or cover it up with your uniform, it's up to you. But if that's not something that you want to deal with, or you got tattoos on your forehead, it's just not going to work for you. And last but not least, I have pay. Now, pay is very important. Y'all are looking at hourly wages of flight attendants and saying, oh, y'all make bank. You make $25, $35, $40 an hour. Yeah, it sounds good, but you're not taking into account the amount of hours that we don't get. This isn't a 40 hours per week type of job. You get a guarantee for the month, and I want you to look up that guarantee for the airline that you're applying to and the hourly wage for the airline that you're applying to, and do the math and see that you're making, say, $25,000, $35,000 a year. That's next to nothing. And unless you have another way to offset your income and live up to the means that you've given yourself, you're gonna hate it here. It's poverty. You're not paid in dollars, you're paid in experience. And I'm okay with that because I have other ways of offsetting my income and making additional money outside of just my career as a flight attendant. But if you don't, or are not willing to do that, and you're not okay with making $20, $30, whatever $1,000 a year, then this ain't it, boss. This ain't it. This ain't it. So yeah, that's something that I would say definitely do your personal research on for the airlines that you're applying to, and see if it's worth it for, if the whole process and dealing with all the other things is worth it for you for the money that you will be making. And if it isn't, then don't even waste your time. So yeah, that is the 10 things that I believe that you should consider before becoming a flight attendant. And that's all she wrote for now. It's been real sitting and chit-chatting with you guys. I hope you all found this video informative. If you did, be sure to subscribe, give it a thumbs up, and leave a comment below. I'm gonna try to be more consistent. There's no vlogs right now because, like I said, I was on reserve today, didn't get used. All last week I was on reserve, didn't get used. So yeah, I haven't been doing anything. I haven't had any trips, so there's no vlogs right now. So in the meantime, in between time, I would love to sit down and film some more sit down informative videos for you all about becoming a flight attendant, what it's like, what to do, and all of that stuff. So if you guys are interested, definitely leave comments on what you want to hear me discuss in future videos. Like, comment, share, and subscribe, and follow me on Instagram at milan.emaj. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.